Morning, everybody. I know you guys love this kind of stuff. My drive to work. I'm doing, walking pace. Can't see. Major snowstorm blew in. All the Manitobans out there, we finally got a storm. Anyhow, I'm gonna meander my way to work if I can see. Well, everybody, I made it home. Left work a little bit early today to get home before the sun went down. The old 7.3 Power Stroke. Oh, she made it. Nice thing about this truck, it's taller than the last guy's truck, meaning I'm usually taller. If somebody else broke a path on the road, I'm usually taller. So as long as there's tracks, I can usually get through no problem. Even if it is blowing, and this truck is big, heavy, lots of torque, and it moves. Those tires I put on, those Radar Renegades, no problems with them so far. Anyhow, I plugged in my skid steer this morning and I gotta go fire it up. That's my snow bucket there. We'll be able to get her out. That's a good looking snow rig, isn't it? She did well today. This is the first really storm I've driven this thing in. And here's old Gail. Let's get our wiping apparatus here. I plugged this thing in this morning, so it should start. I'll probably park my truck in there and take this bucket off. Here, well. This is just a light, fluffy snow. Shouldn't be too much trouble to clean up. Get her a little... Wow. We had a rain the other day. I'll deal with this later on. Okay, let's see how easily this thing starts. This is a good machine. This is hard to do one-handed because my feet are so darn big. Okay. Oh, we left the wiper on. Okay. That is really weird how my... Oh, come on, girl. I think I definitely got glow plug issues. Or intake heater issues. I'm gonna pause it, let that starter cool down. We'll go for take two. Okay. Oh, I hope I don't have to boost this thing. That's like a manual preheat. I'll hold it for 20, 30 seconds. Yeah, there's definitely something going on with that intake heater. And the reason why I know that is, here, I'll flip you guys around. The reason why I know there's something up with this thing used to start, like you put the key in it and it would go vroom. And now it doesn't do that anymore. So I'm gonna try it once, maybe twice more. If it doesn't go, then I'll have to get my cold weather gear on, and I'll take the intake off, and I'll put my my heat gun, the same one I use for taking apart chainsaws. I'll put that in the intake, and that'll be my intake heater. I don't use I'll flip you guys around. I don't use ether on my equipment. I really don't like to. Never have. Okay, ready? Oh. Come on, baby. There we go. You know, this is a good machine, and I put 1030 in it this year, a different weight of oil for winter, a lighter weight, and seemed to have worked there. She's already firing on all 4 cylinders. If I gotta say something, if you're a professional, this is probably not the skid steer for you. I wouldn't want to spend 8-10 hours a day in this cab, but for everybody else, if you're looking for a skid steer around your farm and that, these Gale skid steers, especially the 35 series and the 25 series, they're all manual, they're simple, but they are reliable, and they just plain run. I really like this machine. Pull the throttle up here. I usually just put this thing on fast idle and I'll let it run for a bit. Turn the fan on. Where's the fan here? Getting a little bit of heat out of there, but there we go. Fan on there. Okay, and we'll just let this thing run for a bit. Time to put the big bucket on. Gonna make sure there's no snow or she won't latch properly, and if you've ever unlatched a bucket in the air, that's scary. That could do major damage. So this will be the bucket I use for the rest of the winter. I like the tooth bucket for quick cleanups. It's just easier. And again, you don't, just because you have teeth on your bucket doesn't mean you're digging, right? You can just skim it across. Okay, I think this will be good. There we go. Now we'll know if we got the snow out. Oh, there's one. And then the way you know if it's latched is just put pressure down. If it doesn't come off, you know you're good to go. Okay, let's clear some snow. Try not to back over my pile of firewood. Whoops. That'll buff out. Cleaned off the windshield for you. We had freezing rain about, I don't know if that was the last weekend, but you guys can see a little better. I'm glad this snow's light and fluffy because there's definitely a lot of it. I think it may be time for a battery in this thing. We'll see. Okay. So now I'll go around my shop and my wood pile here. Keep this driveway as wide as I can this year. Now, I learned this when I did commercial snow. Push it into the drive lanes and then push it to the pile, and you make quicker work. Give this thing a little more RPM. Just get a scrape in the entrance of my shop. Again, watch your clearances because it's real easy to hit stuff with one of these. And I'm just backblading. Light pressure. Of course, if you put too much pressure and you take the weight off the tires, guess what? You get stuck. So, try and scrape this a little bit over. Again, I gotta move this wood. I say that every year. I'm a man of ritual. I like having the wood by the shop because when I run out of wood in my shop, it's real quick to load it. have I ever been a professional operator? Well, yes and no. I did do snow clearing professionally part-time. I was a reserve guy. I never did full, you know, every day of the week kind of deal, but I was a reserve snow operator. Never had a skid steer though. It was always a big loader like a 950. That's kind of where I learned how to operate. I just kind of jumped into it, and first thing I ever ran was my tractor. So okay, so yeah, I'm just pulling this into the main driveway, and then I'll just spin around here. I'm not doing a spick and span cleanup job today because we're supposed to get more snow, so I just want to make sure I can get into the shop this weekend. If we want to do some filming and that, and you know, make sure I can get my vehicles and trailers around and stuff. I like this bucket. This bucket moves a lot of snow and quickly. We're starting to fog up here again, folks. It's not hot in this cab. It's room temperature, you know, or not quite room temperature, but it's warm enough that I have bare hands. That's all I care about. I do have a backup camera, so I can see everything. I push all the snow to my pond. That way when it thaws in the spring, my pond fills up with water. It's a good deal. Also limits the flooding. You gotta know your yard to know where you can pile your snow. Okay, do a little spin-a-rooney here. Now, when you're turning around like that, you shouldn't have the bucket up, but I do. To each their own. That's how you flip one of these. Okay. Hit this pile here. I'm just scraping, dumping it here for the next time I go this way. No wasted movements. That's how you get the job done quickly. I would like to get a snowblower, and I'm probably going to invest in one or build one on the channel. And maybe even a snowblower for this. This machine does not have high flow. That's my only problem. So, but we can figure that out. I have ideas. Well, it started snowing again. We done some good work here today. I don't even know if you guys can see, but yeah, we moved a lot of snow. To go from no snow to windrows that size. Now the fun part, moving around trailers and vehicles and buckets, and that's just the way it is. Can't wait till this shop's done. Let's fire up the 7.3 Power Stroke. This is a good truck. She got me to the city safe and sound today. It's minus 25. Listen to this thing turn over now. Beauty. This truck runs good. Like, I knew when that feller was showing it to me, I could just tell he knew what he had, and he was a farmer who, you know, some of the hardest working, most honest people I've ever met have been farmers. Okay, put her in first gear and pull her out of the shop here. I'll leave her right here. Put the e-brake on. Still got to figure out this e-brake. It works, but I'd like it to be a little tighter. And put this thing away in the barn till the next time. And again, I just used my backup camera. I did have my trailer in here for a while, but a little too tight with all the junk. We'll have to do something about that next year. Gonna back this thing right in here. There we go. There we go. Another successful snow mission. Turn off the lights and turn off the fan. There we go. We'll go hang out in the shop for a few minutes before we call her a night. Well, everybody, another day in the life. Today was a party. I left for work well before the sun came up. One of the first people on the highway. I got to the corner and the snow was no joke about that. My lane was partially open, so I figured I'd gun it and try. I got 5-6 miles up the highway and I thought, so I turned around and, well, I got me a bigger truck. And made it to the city and drove home no problem. And then, again though, friends, 5:30 this morning or 6, the first time I went outside to start starting vehicles, I plugged in that skid steer. I'm glad I did because it didn't start very good. We'll have to do some work on that at a later date. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed that video. This is me horsing around and just another part of living out here in the Canadian prairies in winter. I want to mention something, just more about me, how I'm feeling today. I've had a lot of my friends pass away over my lifetime, mostly when I was younger, in my teens and 20s. A lot of my friends passed away and car accidents and things like that. And so I've learned to, I know that death is part of life, but I found out today, one of my best friends I've ever had in my life passed away, and I'm just kind of reminiscing. I'm a little bit sad. We drifted away over the last few years. I ran into him about 2 years ago at a swap meet. He was my wingman, friends. We rode bikes together. We used to hang out in his shop and work on bikes, and we've traveled many a Daytona bike week. That fella and I did. We drove down there, which is like 2,500 miles one way, and just a good friend to me. One of the nicest people I've ever met, and everybody that knew him loved him. And he was only 54 years old and he passed away. So I'm sad. I'm sad I didn't get to see him one more time, but I could have seen him yesterday and I'd still be sad. You know what I mean? So anyhow, be good to those around you because you never know when they're gonna go. And he was a good fella. He will be dearly missed. Anyhow, friends, let's do a question of the day. This one is from the Bradleys on Catbird Hill. I don't know if you've ever seen that channel. I pop in there from time to time. Mr. John, I like him. He's just a good fella, like me, doing his thing, his own place at his own time. What more could a fella want? And John's been on this channel forever, like pretty much since day one. He's been posting here. Just a nice fella. Always happy to have him. I hope maybe he could come to Bunyan next year and I could shake his hand. I would really like that. Anyways, John asked me a question that I've had, again, a million times, and these reoccurring questions are often the ones I pick for question of the day. Do I run my brand new saws, or say a saw I just rebuilt, do I run them a little bit rich for a tank or two? The answer to that is 100% I do. A new build, often I'll put about an extra cap of oil, whatever that ends up being, in the first tank. I will idle the saw, blipping the throttle every so often. I'll idle it for half a tank, sometimes a full tank, depending on what I'm doing. And then the first time I put the saw in the wood, sorry friends, I got a little sniffles here. Then the first time I put the saw in the wood, I'll run it, depending on what it is. If it's a stock saw, I'll run it 8/10, 9/10 on the high jet, meaning 8/10 of what it's capable of. A little bit richer, maybe it doesn't quite clean up in the cut. And then after a tank or so, I'll run it full squirt. On one of my portage saws, I'll do the same thing. I'll take it easy for about a tank. And then if I think if everything looks good through the exhaust port and I think everything's good, I'll start turning it up. Now, do you have to do that? I have no scientific data backing that up. It makes me feel better, so that's why I do it. But think about it, a brand new auto-tune saw, like that 572 I bought, we'll be seeing that soon on video, I'm sure. Those auto-tunes just run full squirt right away. So, to each their own. I always break in saws a little bit rich, just take it easy on them. I use them as normal, and I've never had a problem doing that. So that's the answer to that question. And again, thank you to everybody that takes the time to send me an email. My email is on my About page. I try to get in there as often as possible. As the numbers get bigger, it's harder and harder to answer everybody. But if you sent me an email and you didn't get a reply, please remember or take this from the Tin Man. I try and read as many of them as I can, but it's the law of numbers. And if I don't get back to you, try me again sometime. And hopefully I'll give you a response. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Take her easy. And it's winter, 100%. Later.